Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Mr. JP and the game is Out of Ore. And thank you all for joining me. I'm currently a very quiet and satisfied Mr. JP. I was awake for like about 42 hours or something yesterday. I say yesterday, it would have been Wednesday I started that day on. And yeah, so I'm a little cooked. I slept pretty hard would be the words. So yeah, sorry there hasn't been much content really, but thank you for everyone who's been commenting and getting involved. That's pretty awesome. So try one of my aims to get some good footage and a look around. One of my YouTube guys pointed out that keeping the camera stable in this game sort of made them feel sick, and I know what they mean. But luckily for me, I've played so many space simulations that I'm going to be honest, Gravity and I have a touchy relationship. Most of the time I don't even know where it is in a game. I'm just orientating myself to the objects around me, which makes my designs as space engineers for internals of ships a little worrying sometimes. So yeah, you join me just tidying up this mine. I'm just digging away, sort of planning the weekly walkabout in my head. We'll be going around. I'll also be swapping to my other game in the weekly walkabout and saying what I'm going to be doing there and that kind of thing. It's currently in very early stages. I haven't even got a road built to where I'm mining or anything like that. I think I'm about maybe an hour's play into the game. I've got debt of about 2 mil. I've already made about a mil. I made a mil out of about not even 6 bucketfuls of that first seam from the tutorial. So realistically, financial independence is pretty easy. You just go down the list, find the 3.3 mil option that's like 40 grand a day, buy the 501, buy the largest dozer with or without handrails depending on your personal preference, and buy the largest dumper and you will make money. Just go spelunking the tops of lithium seams all the way to that first nearest tower. You will make money. And after that, the world's your oyster. You just build the mine you want, this is a free flow game. It's like Minecraft. You turn it into whatever. Currently with the mods and updates and stuff, I'm looking forward to this Friday's update, by the way, which is why I'm going to film everything early, so that it looks like it's going to contain some big changes. It might not contain all the changes that you've seen in the dev branch and in other videos. I know that today there is a live stream going down this evening involving the content creator Christian, the developer of the game, and a content creator who's well known for making out of Ore games. He's got plus 30,000 subscribers. I think I've got 30, so that puts things in perspective for me and a little bit of an ego shrinking thing, but I don't care, because I don't do it for the subscriptions and the hits. If one person out there finds my video useful and it improves their game experience so they start having fun again when they were frustrated, that's what makes it worth it for me. Stuff like that, so yeah, if they can fix this lag problem that's in the game, I'll be really happy. And that's what my new game is testing, is this lag problem. I'm going to keep it simple, keep it sweet, and keep my machinery small. I'm going to try and keep the terrain edits down. My new game is going to be Mr. JP Lithium Prospector. If it's not a lithium or a platinum seam, I am not interested. So all of this sort of mass paydirt situation that I'm doing here will probably not be happening in my new game, because I'm coming to the conclusion that even though I'm sat on 7 mil now, paydirt doesn't pay. So I'm thinking in my next games I'm just going to pile it up somewhere and I'll just process it as I'm digging out the rich stuff, sort of thing. I'll just have a processor constantly going and a deliberately built bulldozer hopper so that I can just bulldoze stuff into it. As I say, if they fix this lag, you're going to see Mr. JP going full on industrial. And that's what I am. I'm an electronics engineer who was trained to be an industrial machine. There were parts of the course I did years ago. The course I did is now considered a university course, but I did it in college. So we were pushed hard. We had to do an IQ test to get on the freaking course. And we were introduced to subjects and materials that they just don't teach in that college course anymore. That's why it's a uni course. So people with the qualification from the years prior to about 2005 are classed as more employable by employers, which is quite interesting, because we're known for driving companies forward. Technologically, health and safety wise, you name it, we look at the whole picture because of the way we've been trained. whereas a lot of the more modern guys are a little bit blinkered. They get blindsided by certain things that the earlier trained guys will just look at and go, yeah, you did that, you dumbass. So yeah, I know we live in a modern and forward and progressive world, but I really think people should stop and think and look at the old ways sometimes and go, actually, that isn't such a dumb move when you consider the environment and the economy and everything else. So yeah, I'm sat here working away doing this and just doing some quiet gaming whilst planning how to lay out the weekly walkabout, whether to start the rebuild, whether to film the walkabout early in case this update breaks the game this afternoon. I doubt it will. Christian's really good. You've heard me slate a few developers. There'll be a Railroads Online video coming because one of my, I think it was a YouTube member, it might have been in Discord, I can't remember. No, YouTube, suggested that I do a video about it, and I agree. There isn't that many instructional or quality videos about Railroads Online. The game does. It's funny. Its main screen advertises a Discord that's been deleted. Like, you can see why I have no trouble slating that developer. Christian is setting a fine example, to create, game developers like that are on the internet. Steam's pretty harsh on him though. I wouldn't want to be the developer of that game. His Steam page is reading, even if you're not interested in the game and you don't play it or anything, it's full of some pretty bad, like, bitterness and vitriol. I know that I can get a bit ragey sometimes, but I don't mean it. It is just a verbal safety valve, Once I've got it out of my system, I'm okay. I'm not one of these people who sits and chews on stuff for days and days and days. I can't maintain it. It gets stressful, makes my chest hurt. Stop that. It's just not worth it. Especially for internet stuff. I mean, geez. I know that internet people are real people and everything. That's why I treat them with the respect they deserve. And then I see trolls running around and people being harsh because they can be and stuff. And jeez, people. Bring a bit more love to the world. It doesn't take much effort. But I've been seeing that for the last 20 years. It's not just an internet thing, you see it all the time. People just walking on by or walking on by in such a way that you don't exist. Yeah. And I've never been like one of the poor people who's living, without a home on the streets or whatever, but I've been treated just like that by people every day on trains and that kind of thing, elbowed out the way, shoved, been spat on a couple of times. Like, there's some nasty people out there, and you mustn't let them get to you. You really mustn't. All the time that they're doing that, just remember, that's karma. It's building up. It'll get them. And as a mate of mine said, I'm into Land Rovers. He said, anyone who tells you don't need another Land Rover, they're negative. You don't need people like that in your life. So yeah, that's the way it goes down. I can be a bit scary. I can talk about some scary stuff, and I'm sorry about that to my viewers who find it a bit uncomfortable. But those questions that I'm talking about in my head are probably things that need to be addressed, and they're probably things that I picked up subconsciously from the media in the last 6 to 8 months and gone, oh, so that's going on. And then I've sort of quietly kept an eye on it in my head, and then I'll start talking about it about 2 to 3 months before it happens. It's just sometimes the way it goes down. Not every time, I'm not like some prophet or something, but a couple of times I've sort of said things about current events to a friend of mine. A few days later it's happened, and he's just looked at me and gone, how did you know that? I was like, I just put it together, dude. I just looked at the data that was coming in, and I assembled it in a different way to everybody else, and that was the conclusion I came to. The fact that it's happened that way is sheer fluke. In my opinion, sheer fluke. Like, I was theorising, I didn't have any evidence. So, yeah, you get people in life who can just guess and nail it, kind of people who take a look at the barmaid at the pub who's acting a little bit funny and go, yeah, she's pregnant, in a joking way, and then 3 days later it comes out that she is, and it's like your best mates or something. Kind of amusing, those situations in life. So when you get taken to one side after making a comment like that by the woman concerned, and she goes, how the hell did you know? Even my bloke doesn't know. Don't say that again. Oh, okay, sorry. It's just a comment. So I learned to guard my mouth and my observations in public quite a long time ago. Again, I hope I'm getting better at it, but just occasionally it comes back. It's terrible. I call it foot in mouth syndrome. Like that occasion where you say something and you just wish you'd crammed your size 13 in your mouth instead. I'm quite flexible. I could probably get my foot in my mouth, and my mouth is nearly big enough, but it's a big foot. Like, they are huge. Like, I've got huge hands, I've got huge feet. Don't know if you've ever seen the climber, free climber Alex Honnold, but he has hands like me, and my feet match it up. So yeah, big feet, big hands, skinny as hell, tall as hell. Okay, so I'm essentially a mobile crane. Look like a mobile tower crane or something. But there we go. It's kind of useful when you're at a dinner party, because I can like reach every condiment on the table and just pass them around from where I am. I don't have to stand up or anything. It's good fun. Ah, this camera angle. I completely agree with my viewer who said about the camera angle. But I can tell you this: the camera angle we're viewing from is actually where my player is stood, which means that if your character is stood the other side of a vehicle and you want to get in it, it's pretty easy to just sort of say my character stood on the left-hand side of this vehicle. Swing the camera around to the other vehicle so the character's behind it, and press E and you'll jump into it. So you can jump into a vehicle that's like up a slope that you can't jump up and stuff. So it does come in handy, but it is well annoying. A lot of things are like that in computer games. There's a game I played. I've done a couple of videos on it called Space Engineers, and the camera angles in that are a similar deal. And you can actually set the game so you can't have an external camera as part of the server settings. To make it more real for people, because it's more of a role-play game. But yeah, even in that, you get these sort of... In that first video, you'll see me fighting with camera angles. So external cameras and stuff in games, I think they're a bit of a bugbear in certain ways for programmers, and how they interact with the terrain and stuff. I think I posted a video of me working in the other, putting in a hopper. I don't know if I posted it up, because I think I screwed up the audio. But at one point the camera flicked round and I was looking through this character's eyeballs in a really close-up way, and he's a really detailed character, I've got to give him that. He's got like bloodshot veins and stuff in his eyeballs, but it looked a bit freaky. I was like, we should probably not have done that, sort of thing. But yeah, funny days. You get those kind of things, you know, that situation where you're in another game I play, 7 Days to Die, if you dig a tunnel and go through it on a push bike, the camera sometimes gets pushed through the wall of the tunnel and you can see where all the resources are underneath. In a ghost map, you're just cycling on nothing as well with. Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. That one's pretty good actually for camera angles. I spend most of my time in the first person view unless I'm driving vehicles really, and that's purely for the viewpoint. I fly the helicopters, gyrocopter around a lot in that game, and I enjoy it. I enjoy. I'll probably never get to fly again, so yeah, I enjoy flight sim now. Just bought myself 2 joysticks actually. That's the big news of the shopping trip. 2 joysticks. I'm debating whether to get started with one now for using loaders, or whether I'm going to put Christmas wrapping paper around them both and have them for my Christmas presents, so that when we're unwrapping presents for my family, I'm not left out. Because due to not being able to eat chocolate, sweets, perfumes, you know, wear perfumes, all that kind of thing, there isn't a lot in the sort of general stuff you get at Christmas from family that they can get me. I feel a bit bad for them. But at the same time, I don't want for that stuff, you know. I quite often class the gift side of Christmas as the bit that is most stressful to me. I'd rather just see my family. Not that I was very good the last time the family were around in the summer, but I'd had a lot of surgery and a lot of messing around medically, and I hadn't been around people much. It was very hard. So for those of you who are struggling like that, don't feel bad. Don't feel like you're a bad person. It happens, and if your family can't deal with the fact that you're having a struggle, perhaps they need to address how they are about their family. You know, it's not necessarily you. So just concentrate on being nice. You know, whilst this happening, because I was pretty grumpy. Just tried to keep it in check, make sure I didn't really hurt anybody. Lost my temper a couple of times, made a couple of short comments. Just, yeah, you know, when you're on edge, waiting for results, you know. Just got a phone call yesterday saying, yeah, you've got to come up to London for another scan. And because of that, I've got another bit of a cloud over me. It's not too bad, because I know that I've already had the bad news. They're just monitoring the bad news, so it's not like, oh my god, what they're going to find. It's, oh yeah, I know what they're going to find. It's a nightmare in there, you know. They replaced my heart with a baked potato like Kenny in South Park. But yeah, it's just another thing on the list of things to do that I don't want to do. Got my paperwork done for the government yesterday. That was a nice feeling. Probably done it all horribly wrong. I'm going to fail and all that kind of thing and be stuck in the same boat I'm in now. For those of you in America who get stuff, I'm going for, I think, what is the equivalent of what you'd call disability payments. Over here it's called an independence payment. You know, I think British governments like for renaming stuff. That's nice. So yeah, see how that goes, really. Kind of in a point where I no longer care. Last time I signed paperwork, it's for doctors to work on me and they screwed up, so is paperwork actually worth the paper it's printed on? Probably not. Am I motivated to do it? No. In the same way that, you know, if you smack a dog every time it goes near the food bowl, is he going to keep eating from it? Really? It's like they didn't stick to their side of the deal last time. I'm not bothering anymore. Spent my life doing jobs for people and getting it right. I spent my life doing incredibly serious jobs involving lots of paperwork and lots of nasty consequences if things don't go right. And I've been nailed, absolutely nailed to the wall by arseholes whose job, they're known in the UK as a job's worth or a health and safety rep or a twat. That if you get the paperwork wrong when dealing with medical or certain other fields, you will get nailed to the wall, and I have been, for the stupidest, smallest things. Like, no one got hurt, no one died. You know, it literally, I put something on the side whilst I was working, and a health and safety guy had a go at me. I was the only person working in there. Like, if it falls off of where I put it, dude, which was a desk, and it was like a foot away from all of the edges of the desk, and it's only a 25 kilo tool, like, it's not a big thing. It's about the size of a shoebox, maybe half a shoebox. One of the smallest tools we had, and there he is having a go at me. That dude can't even change a tool. How does he know how to do it? How does he know how to work safe? Like, I actually got him to come into the clean room and said, well, you know so much, come on in there. And watched him kit up, and then I picked holes in him and we didn't have a problem anymore. Have some military. Because you'd be amazed how many civvies can't handle a proper attitude. And when I say a proper attitude, I mean self-improvement. You will perform, you will do your best, and you will live to it. What you might call Marine Corps. Doesn't mean you have to be like all hard and hoorah. Just means that you need to self-improve, and that's a constant goal. Sometimes what you want is less important than what is needed as well. Sometimes you have to sacrifice what you think to do the job, or because what you think is wrong in the general viewpoint. God, the amount of things I have to give up on, jeez. Or that I think about and I think, yeah, that's the way it is and that's the truth, but none of that woke lot are going to put up with that. So yeah, that's life, isn't it? That's life. As I said, you can. There's an old saying: you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him think. So, like, when it comes to knowledge, you can give someone as much knowledge as you like, but if they're not willing to think about it and draw their own conclusions, you are wasting your time. There's another saying that he who washes an ass's head wastes his time and soap, which I thought was kind of amusing. So yeah, all you can do is keep putting the information there, eventually they'll figure it out. Bit like these electric cars, the batteries all need to be changeable, so you can just pull in, robot undoes the button on the car, takes the old battery off, puts on a new fully charged one, and you drive on before your freaking Costa coffee's even cooled down. You know what I'm saying? 5-minute battery change. Much better than these charge times. But the true goal is hydrogen. Hydrogen power for cars is the way forward. It's completely green, it can be tanked and moved around. Yeah, your car could explode and stuff, but you're getting a jet aircraft every day and you've got 30 seconds to get the fuck out of that. So, really, is hydrogen that dangerous on a vehicle? No. Lithium explodes as well, so like, why are you even worried about it? You're sat on a battery that could explode much more badly than a hydrogen tank that's mounted at the back of your car, external to the passenger cabin. That way, if there is a problem and it does burst into flames, you're moving forward, the flames are moving out of the tank and the heat is going backwards into an open area. And I'm pretty sure someone's going to honk their horn and tell you that your hydrogen tank's exploded, and you're going to lose power quite quickly. Hopefully it will burn out before you stop moving, and the flames won't catch up to you. You ever seen a NASCAR explode? Those guys get out of it. Ever seen a Formula 1 car explode? You'll see the flames go backwards. It's only when they stop that they catch up with them. So, you know what I'm saying. Fighter aircraft as well. The flames will always burn backwards. Space Shuttle Columbia, the flames burn backwards as they entered the hole in the wing at the front and melted the internal components. So, yeah, on moving vehicles, heat moves backwards. Put the fuel at the back. Simples. Eek! Like the, I'm probably going to get copyrighted for that one. We all know the ones, I'm not going to say it. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, copyright law and stuff when it comes to YouTube, I don't understand it, I haven't read it, I don't care. Because this is all my creation using a standard copy of Out of War, and I'm here to demonstrate the game. You know, this is a gameplay video, and I'm just playing the game. And the reason I'm opening out this area, and making it flat with the loader rather than going in with the dozer at the moment, is because I want a flat area. And I have figured out that whilst the dozer can move a lot of material, the loader is what can carve a flat area. I'm not using the GPS, I'm just doing it by eye, just going in, taking a scrape out of this stuff, because I noticed, you notice this funny brown colour in this stuff. I thought I'd fill up this machine, set it running and see what the money did. So I'll probably sort of end this video at about the half hour, and then we'll come back after the machine has done the running, because I wanted to see how much I could load before I saw this frame rate drop as a percentage in the machine, so I actually had a measurement. Because I'm like 20 minutes, 15 minutes is about the time to the lag, but really what we want is a scientific measurement of how much dirt you can dig before the lag makes the game unplayable. So that's what I'm doing today. It's experiment. It's all experiments and gaming improvements, people. That's what this channel's about. So like, please, you know, feel free to like, subscribe, comment. If you've got something about this game where you've been playing and you're like, I haven't mentioned it, and obviously there's gamer secrets and stuff. There is stuff about this game that I'm not saying, but it's because I've noticed it's considered spoilers in the NMC or on the Steam page or that kind of thing. So I'm just staying away from those at the moment until they become common knowledge. But I am perfectly okay with letting out my secrets. It's just I tend to do it in my Discord. So yeah, feel free to become a Discord member. Try and remember to leave a link down in the description below. Hit that subscribe button. At least you get the video things. But yeah, the Discord's a fairly tight community. I try not to moderate it too much, but because it's small, everyone's nice. It's not a problem. Anyone who is nasty will get kicked. I have no problem with the ban hammer. I'd rather not use it though. I'd rather just kick them to inform them they've done something bad and let them rejoin. So yeah, that's like, I'm quite laid back really. Quite laid back. I figure if you haven't done something permanent and it's forgivable, shall we say, transgression, you know, and you say you've learned your lesson and you won't do it again, and you don't do it again, well, that's okay. You know, it's a one-off. I can't stand it when someone keeps on doing the same thing, keeps on saying sorry, keeps on saying they'll improve, and keeps on doing it again when it's something that is controllable, you know, such as petty theft. People who are in and out of prison again and again, they have a medical problem, I know, it's psychological. When it's for things like petty theft, you know, like there was that, was it Lindsay Lohan? Can't remember which star it was, but one of the Hollywood stars just kept on thieving because she, you know, there's something up in her head. She didn't need to, she had the money. And yeah, it's a problem. But for people who are getting a kick out of it and doing it deliberately, that's a slightly different matter, and I have some strong opinions there. Especially when it's an offence that isn't, you know, shoplifting is fairly harmless in the fact that it's fairly victimless. There is a victim, it's currently concerned, it has losses, rah-de-rah-de-rah. That gets transferred down to lower staff wages, so there are victims in shoplifting from commercial premises, you know. But when it's personal, you know, when they're stealing off of people, or when they're hurting people again and again, you know, like embezzlement of money and that kind of thing, sometimes I do wonder whether the prison system is a little bit too nice. Do we need them? Really? Really? I wall it in because that is quite nasty thinking, you know, Kanye West's and what's his name from InfoWars, Alex Jones. They had a little coming together about it on a certain subject, and if you get into those subjects, you've got to explain yourself properly. I mean, I'm no fan of Kanye, and I think he's thick as toffee. But what he was saying, I kind of get what he was saying. And before everyone shouts at me, what I mean by that is everyone brings something to the table, whether it's a skill, whether it's a viewpoint, whether it's a look, you know, whether it's just eye candy, you know, everyone brings something. The secret is to find that thing and promote that trait in them so that it becomes the thing. And a few of my friends from my life, you'll know where I've got this idea because you're all about the thing. A couple of people on the old Twitch, and they're online, and a couple of my friends from the local area, they know about the thing. Most of the time they are the thing. And that's the attitude. That's just the attitude they have, and it's cool. So yeah, by promoting those people's strengths, say, take for example, you know, a nasty dictator. If someone had taken that nasty dictator a few years before and said, dude, you've got this idea and it's really great, you should really promote that, but man, this whole killing people thing, you've got to drop it. And you know, maybe instead of a crazy psycho dictator, you'd have ended up with a slightly more balanced guy. And you know, like as an example, the Second World War might not have happened that way. You know, there might not have been a Holocaust. There might have been a Germany that through the 1940s was a power of strength, and they might have built the European Union, you know, 20, 30 years earlier. You just don't know. So, yeah, you've got to be nice to everybody, even if they're an evil, nasty piece of work, because by doing that and promoting their talents or their strength, or sometimes just by talking to them, you never know, you might change the world. So don't ever think that you're powerless, and don't ever think that you're pointless, because one day you might say that one thing in, you know, like a forum on YouTube or something like that, that someone else reads who's, you know, like government prime minister or something. You just don't know who's looking at your YouTube, and they might go, oh my god, that's a really good point, what have I been doing all my life, and change their ways, you know. And just by that little thing that you put in that you didn't think was worth anything changes someone's life in a big way. And I know just from my small experience with YouTube and this channel, there's people out there who, you know, they need it, I need it. So yeah, it's well worth doing. So I've been gently loading up here for not 27 minutes on the video, and I did start filming as I think I'd loaded 2 bucketfuls when I started the filming. I thought, yeah, let's film something and get it up there, then we'll do the weekly walkabout as a planned thing, sort of towards lunchtime. And this experiment's actually going quite well, which is kind of nice. I didn't check to see whether there'd been some kind of stability update before I started playing. I don't think there has, because they're normally a Friday afternoon, but because I suppose he might put the update out and then do his media thing on the I think it's YouTube or Discord that they're doing it in. I can't remember. It's YouTube. Yeah, it's YouTube, because I'm not a subscriber, and I probably won't be. I don't like the way he does videos. He's very popular, but very flashy. You know, he's all about the action and the explosions. But as a few users have mentioned about the guy, there's not much necessarily informational content that helps you play the game. It's all entertainment. So, I mean, my gameplay videos are pretty boring. This is the game, and that's the point of them. I'm showing you exactly what you are going to spend 90% of your time doing in game, and that's digging. Whether it's with an excavator, and I still need to do an excavator video because I keep deleting them because I'm terrible with the excavator and I get frustrated, and that makes my vocals a bit interesting. So yeah, I've listened back to them and I wasn't happy with them, and I'm quite self-critical, so they went straight in the recycling bin. I didn't even think about editing. I really should. Perhaps I should. But at the same time, the more I edit and the longer I make things and the upload times, the less gaming I do, and that's what I love. I'm still loving this game, by the way, even though I'm getting frustrated with this lag problem, which having just mentioned and looked up in the corner and seen 25, we're actually reaching the wall again. So I'm not worried about crashing the game, other than losing all of this digging, because it's the area of dug that I'm actually worried about. I'm not worried about what goes through the processor at the moment, because I'm sat on 7mm. So yeah, with 7mm you stop worrying about profit. but this game isn't satisfying on that 7mm, because I know that at the start I used certain things that are in the game that help creators, that stop money being a worry. So my next game, the aim is to not use those and do it the actual financial way, so it'll be a bit more of a simulated playthrough. Sorry, just so you know, I have a massive tongue for the size of my mouth. I've got massive hands, I've got massive feet, I've got a tiny mouth. Like, all of my drawing stuff is really small. It's been commented on by doctors saying that it's something going on. But yeah, the net result is my tongue is huge compared to my bottom jaw. So I end up like chewing the inside of my mouth and my tongue to pieces when I eat. And it doesn't sit in there very well, so when I talk, it tends to move saliva around, it flies about, it's a bit horrible. But yeah, it gets in the way and gets tangled up when I talk sometimes. It's kind of funny. Like, you know the cartoon character, I call him a cartoon character, film character, Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars. His tongue, yeah, mine's not as long, but it's kind of like, it does the same, I've got it tangled up in machinery thing. The machinery being my mouth. It's funny though, Jar Jar Binks, my friends have already, you know, Star Wars has already, fans have already said he's the cartoon character put in for the kids and all that. But there is a little bit of a cultural thing out there that says actually Jar Jar Binks is a Force user and possibly a member of the Sith and might actually be running Palpatine from the shadows. I thought that was quite funny. I do love a good theoretical conspiracy theory, but you won't get me subscribing to one. Does that make sense? Because they're a theory. Theories change. You can change a theory. Theories are like ideas. But once you start subscribing, it becomes a belief, and that's dangerous. So yeah. It's beliefs that people do crazy stuff for, you see. A lot of the time people won't do something really crazy because they've got an idea, but if they believe, ooh, that's dangerous. It's like, you know, any time where it becomes about do you believe, you've got to stop and ask, especially when it's science. This is one of the problems I have with moon landings. It's like, do you believe they walked on the moon? Well, it shouldn't be about belief, it should be about evidence. This is science. The evidence should state that yes, they walked on the moon, but unfortunately there's actually room for contention. I'm not happy with the evidence. If you took it to a court of law, I think like a court of law would be like, well, I don't think you can actually prove you did it because you have no independent corroboration. So it's a difficult one. And when I say independent corroboration, I want a tracked rover to crawl up to the Apollo 11 capsule. I don't want that entire area sealed up like a historical site for one main reason. The equipment on the moon has been exposed to the sun now and radiation, solar radiation and stuff, for over 50 years. So if you want to build a ship with a 50-year capacity to go back and forth to Mars that isn't going to suffer from structural fatigue and is going to protect you, you might want to know what that environment is doing to those materials. If nothing else, they need examining visually at close range with a high-definition camera and a microscope, you know, a magnifying glass, microscope for micro-cracking, damage and radiological changes to that material. It's science, people. It's not about belief. It's about facts. A bit like gaming. Science is survival, after all. Society wouldn't be where it is without science. We'd probably have died out already. You know what I'm saying? Science is survival. So yeah, to take this do you believe attitude to the moon landings is just crazy. It's a scientific site. It's not some kind of freaking museum to American brilliance, though it does represent the pinnacle of human felicity in exploration at this time. I think when someone invents some kind of pressure suit that allows someone to walk on the bottom of the Mariana Trench independent of the submersible that got them there, that'll be a big day too. Because that means we can build a pressure suit that can survive on high pressure planet environments and still be usable. So yeah, I as I said, I think about some crazy stuff and big things, especially at 7 in the morning when I'm gaming. Because playing games like this one, my mind is fairly idle, I've got to admit. That's why I play them. I find them very therapeutic, just going back and forth, back and forth. If people are using these videos to go to sleep and stuff, I was taught some relaxation and hypnosis mantras when I was a drama student, and I could probably say those instead whilst we do the driving around in the video. And I'll turn the game sound right down so there's no engines, and you'll go to sleep pretty quick. And I think that any toddler that's watching it will probably be gone as well. So let me know if you want a video like that. That can be done. I did a little bit with a mate, just explaining how I get to sleep when I was suffering from insomnia, because that was a conversation. And as I was talking about it, he wasn't even doing it, and I could see him slowly going downhill. It was late at night and tired, but so he was tired anyway, so it's pretty easy. But I was just talking about it and slowly putting the correct intonations into your voice, because it's all about vibration and harmonies. And his eyes started to droop, and he started to display the signs like a tired toddler. It was funny. It was not funny, but it was amazing how quickly it happened. And I know how quickly it happened because my drama teacher put me under in about 3 seconds once I'd relaxed. And it's you could say it's a bit dangerous because hypnotic suggestion and all that kind of thing, but this is relaxation hypnosis. It's not that kind of hypnosis. I'm not swinging a watch in front of anybody. It's just really promoting their own rhythms so that they relax and can sleep, and their body gets the rest it needs. You can actually rest your body whilst being awake, and you can actually wake up, as it were, afterwards feeling more refreshed than if you'd slept a full night's sleep. Everyone's probably wondering, how did you keep functioning after being awake like that? Because I was awake for 24 hours before we went, about 30 hours before we went out shopping, and I don't think I'd eaten either. You isolate your mind from it, you isolate your body from it, and you can just do these things. This is how people walk up mountains, this is how people survive, crazy situations in wars where they've beaten the odds to walk out of a situation, survival-wise. There's something in you, and it can be harnessed. Everyone's got it as well. One of the biggest complaints I have, some of the Star Wars fiction mentions it. They're like, you Force users, you change the world around you all the time and all that, without ever giving normal people the realization that they have that power too. And it's true. Most people have that power. So it's not something special. It's just a matter of promotion. It's a matter of finding that thing in someone. It's all it's about. It's all about. People are great. I do miss being around people. At the same time, I'm no longer physically able to be there. It's just something they have to worry about in some ways. Don't want to be that. So yeah. Hopefully I can find a way to socialise again. Maybe I need to find myself a bit more first in this new role. So it's an interesting one. Yeah. Do let me know if this subject matter, if you're a subscriber to my channel, and this subject matter that I talk about in my rambling that you'd rather I didn't, do let me know, because I will do my best to avoid it. But sometimes current affairs and stuff mean that I get either a little bit maudlin, or a little bit ragey, or a little bit, the world's a dark place, but guys, have you considered this? And it's probably a lot scarier than anything you'll see in the news. I know that I've said a couple of things to people in the past, and on one occasion, some guy blew his utter stack at me, pointing out the fact that whilst the official Commission's 9/11 report is the official word, and they're doing their best to try and knock out anyone who argues with it, especially with the whole InfoWars case recently, there are questions that need answering that haven't been answered. There are questions over the aircraft evidence and the investigation into the aircraft that were used that have to be addressed. And I pointed out the fact that one of the parts from the aircraft wasn't correct. It's not in the official stuff, but you look at the photo and you can see it's not the right type of aircraft engine. It looks like it may have been either positioned or the aircraft may have been modified. So yeah, as I say, I don't really want to go into it because it's not a fact. It's one of those things that is a small pointer to what is wrong with the investigation, more than anything. Aircraft accident investigations and aircraft crime investigations are normally some of the most detailed in the world, and in this case there's nothing. So yeah, it's hinky. I think there's 12 missing. There's between 12 and 15 missing black boxes that have never been recovered due to aircraft accidents from Boeing products, and 8 of them happened on 9/11. So yeah, yeah, statistically it's not a good thing, because those aircraft, the ones that went into the towers and then had 80,000 steel collapse on them, I understand why you're not going to find much of those. The one that hit the Pentagon should have left a fair amount of evidence, and that's never really been publicly addressed, because it was the Pentagon. It's all hush hush. Even in the footage they released, old Alex Jones and Michael Moore, they wanted to see that from every angle, every camera angle that caught it, and they wanted to watch it 100 times again and again to examine it independently. The public inquiry should be the public, because the official footage that was released of that incident contains editing. There is no doubt. Horrendous as that is, they released edited footage of a event as evidence, saying that this is what it is when it's not. So as I say, I can't tell what happened, but the way that evidence is being messed with and covered up tells me something did. If you're telling the truth, you don't need to doctor or change anything, do you? Simple. That's why I don't like secret societies as well. They're designed to keep something secret. That means that they're keeping something secret that they prefer everyone else didn't know. Which means, yeah, it's probably wrong. Yeah, okay, that was 10 frames a second, so I'm going to stop this now. So I got about 40 minutes in there of gentle, fairly long turnaround. If I'd had a stack of material on top of that lithium vein and was just backing up, going in, backing up, going in, I'd probably have got to this quicker. So, yeah. This is still filling. Here's a shout out to a certain person out there who makes videos. He kept on telling me, and pissed me off, that you have to turn both these buttons on to load these machines. Well, this one, as you can see, is not turned on, and it hasn't been. So we'll turn it on. I'll just check the hopper feed is still fairly empty. Yep, so we finished feeding. That's just gone up there. This conveyor's empty, and this machine, we'll turn it on, the first two buttons. Nah, it's not loading, so he's a liar. Oh look, 30,000%, which gives me time to have toast, breakfast and coffee before I come back. So, yeah, you know who you are. Take your parrot and go and stand on one leg in the corner, because the information you're giving out is wrong. And I'm going to end the video on that note, guys. Those who have heard earlier videos or have been in the Discord when it happened will know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to leave it like that, because perhaps he didn't mean it, but I won't be subscribing to the conversation this evening with the creator. I might watch it later or something, because of this incident. So just so you know, he might have 30,000 subscribers or whatever. I'm not one of them. To be fair, that's a different person to the person doing the live feed, but they're the same types of people, and they're not my thing. So thank you very much for joining, everybody. Sorry I've been a bit of a rambler for 45 minutes, but that's gameplay with the loader. 30,000 into the machine. I'll come back in my next video and we'll see how much more than 7.2 million I have. Thank you very much, everybody. See you after the experiment. Stay safe and have a great day. Mr. JP, signing out.